Jeff, thanks. In a 14 News update, told you last week about the Indiana Public Access Counselor issuing an opinion on the Evansville-Vanderburgh School Corporation. In it, he says the EVSC violated Indiana's open door law. Mitch Carter is here after he sat down with that counselor today.
Well, Randy, the Indiana Public Access Counselor, Luke Britt, says they issued the opinion after a formal complaint was filed. Now that that's done with, he says what happens next is really out of their hands.
Ann Ennis is a former board member of the EVSC.
When suddenly Harwood was told they were going to be moved and the school was going to be closed, and I found that out as a volunteer within Harwood, I knew it had not ever been discussed.
Ennis says when the EVSC voted to close down Harwood Career Preparatory High School back in March, it wasn't the decision that bothered her.
Didn't have a disagreement with doing it. I had a disagreement with the process. Luke Britt, the Public Access Council attorney, had said if someone filed a complaint, they would probably do something about it. And so I filed the complaint.
So she did just that, reaching out to the public access counselor, alleging the school board made the decision without offering a public comment opportunity.
The whole point of the open door law is that these types of governing bodies, so school boards, town councils, city councils, county commissioners, all that, any type of group, the gathering, that are kind of tasked with driving the direction of a political subdivision, whether that's a school or county or municipality.
Britt says they first issued an informal opinion on the matter when Ennis reached out. But once she filed a formal complaint, Britt says they reached out to the public entity, in this case, the school board.
And that's kind of their opportunity to give their side of the story, if you will, and give some justification as to why they're doing, some arguments as to why they think maybe that's the correct course of action. Well, in this case, we didn't get that response.
With no response, Britt says their hands are tied. In that opinion released on October 10th, Britt says the EVSC violated Indiana's open door law. With the opinion now out, he says it normally functions as a bit of a wake-up call for organizations to change.
They're held to a little bit of a heightened standard so that when they deliberate, when they make decisions, when they talk about, entering into contracts or, dealing with personnel, that all of that is transparent. And the mechanism by which they do that is to hold open meetings to talk about that stuff.
Well, Britt says any further action would fall on the complainant in this case, Ennis, to get the opinion enforced in court. Ennis says she's keeping her options open in hopes the school corporation would, quote, follow state law.
Well, Britt tells me it's extremely rare for an organization to not respond when they reach out, especially one as large as the EVSC. I reached out to the EVSC last week during their fall break as well as today, and we've yet to hear back.